All right, on the old F150 again. Hood is already popped. What I'm gonna do today, finally get rid of this old belt, the tensioner, and the water pump, and this hose here. This hose, Motorcraft hose, and it's probably been like this for years, maybe even decades. It is touching right there. It actually has a hole already in it. That's where every year, push this down, I would put coolant back in it. And I kept wondering, where's the coolant going? That's what it is it's cut right here. So it's going through. All right, so I'll get a new hose. But first thing you have to do, get one of those tool sets or something that will fit around the fan. Don't take the belt off yet, and break it loose, and then go from there. All right, once you get it broke loose, all you have to do is take something that you can hold this back from spinning this section and turn this section. Now you have two nuts, one on each end. Have to take them loose. Take this out together with this, and then you got all the room in the world. All right, I was holding it was these two screws. I think they're 8mm. Let me see. Yeah, 8mm. 8mm. Both of them. Take this one hose off. All it does is come around to the nipple on the neck, the filler, and then take this off, and everything should just slide on out. Okay, if you want, you could drain the coolant first. Since mine was already low, I didn't have to do that. I still did a little bit of spilling, not a whole lot. I took it loose, and then you just slide everything up in one piece. What am I hooking on to? Oh, hooking on to that. It's hooking right at the bottom of the same nut that I just took off. The fan. Now, let me take the fan out then. Give me a little more room. Okay. And the bottom of this just hooks into that little clip and that little clip. Now I can take off the belt, drain the rest of the coolant in there, and I'll just clean that up. All right, okay. On this particular truck, this right here is where you drain everything. You can use a Allen, or I think it's a 19mm, and some of them are loose enough to whip, like this one here. I turned it with my hand, but it's still hard. But then I think it should have a little hose stuck to this that you just put down in the bucket and let it drain. Doesn't have the hose. I'll go see if I have a hose or just let it drain. Should be able to hear it from there. And it's going down into the bucket. So just let it sit there and drain out. You have less of a mess. What I did now, took off this line, was back here. This one was right here. Took them off. Unplugged this just for more space, because it's sitting here kind of blocking the lines right there. So took all that out. Fluid isn't leaking anymore. That was supposed to be pink. It's brown, so it tells me I got rusting inside. I broke this one loose. That's the hose to the bottom. So then I can start taking out the bolts on the water pump. This, I'll take it out afterwards. You could take it out before, but you need one of those tools to pull it off. But I'll take it off when it's all out. Might not even use it again, but I might replace a little more than I was going to begin with. That's the water pump gasket. I got thermostat from brand right there. And water pump comes with a gasket. I don't use it. This number right there. And I'll be putting on the new clamps. These are the original old clamps. I'll be changing them out to the worm clamps. And I think soon I'll be changing out the hose too, because it's got like a little pinhole here. It's not leaking. And down there has another little pinhole. It's not leaking. All right. To get the pulley off, I'm just using this right here. Come up here, bump it on this side here, spin this 180 degrees, and then bump it again. Don't pull on it hard. You just easy, just until it comes off. That's all. It was real hard to just pull out, but you hit it 2 good solid hits with a rubber mallet, and it just comes loose. Everything seems to be real nice. Inside is all clean. Now this bolt at the bottom here, make sure when you're putting it in, you have some good sealant on it, because the hole actually just goes all the way through. But I think the one up here is a longer bolt. No, it's really all the same. But this one here, because when I took that one out, it just started pouring coolant out this area here. So just beware of that. There's not anything wrong with it. All right, taking off the tensioner. You're gonna have to have a cheater or a longer bar. I just didn't want to go inside and get my longer bar, so I have this aluminum tube, and it's always been there for me. I'm gonna have to actually go in deeper and change out one other thing since I'm here already. It's got a bolt right here with my fingers that I need to take off this. It's the cover to the push rods where you can view the sides, I guess. I don't know why they have it there, but it leaks oil up in the front here. Not bad, but it just leaves like a wet spot. Doesn't drip down to the road or anything. So I'm gonna take them out and change them out. I have the gasket set here. That's the number. So I'm gonna just go ahead and do that while I'm here already. Okay, I think I found my reason why it was leaking the oil up front, but I'm already here, so I'm gonna change it out. The bolt up front right here was just finger tight. I guess it vibrated after all these years. Vibrated loose. I'm not sure about I think it's 3 or 4 others, and that's it. But since I have to get back there, I'm gonna take off the intake duct to the box. I might have to take off the distributor all the way out, and the coil will have to come out because there's one bolt directly behind it in a tight spot. I'll try to leave it, but I don't think that's gonna work. And then I've been looking around, and after all the years, this one bolt has just broken. Nobody messed with it, but it's out. All right, I'll be back. All right, let me show y'all how loose these things are. I just finished taking out number 3 behind the distributor. There's another one. Now all I have is a thumb wheel, and I can turn it. But that just wants to show how loose it was. Finally got it off. The screws came out no problem. Everything was loose on it. But then getting it out of this tight spot, ended up taking out the throttle linkage, the cables, taking them out right here, taking out all the spark plugs, wires, sliding it back all the way to that corner, lifting the front up and passing it through this section right here. The gasket was in bad shape. It was like chalk. You like sheetrock. You scrub it and it just breaks apart. That's what it looks like. It broke right there. There's a little piece of gasket broke off right there. That's it. So you got 6 bolts holding it, and then you can fight it out. I have new push rods. I'm not sure if I'll put them on today. It might be another day, but I'll just start cleaning this thing up, put it in the parts wash and clean it up, and then start putting back stuff together. Okay. Clean the surface where the cover goes back. New gasket, Permatex on everything, and then I'll put some lock thread on the bolts, the blue. All right. Okay, I got the cover back on, tightened up, put the dipstick, the one that holds the dipstick is back there. Got the dipstick back on it, but I cannot find a nut. And I haven't gone anywhere. Put everything right here. Just can't find a nut. I have others, but I like to keep all original parts on this vehicle. But I guess if I have to, It's a nut. I did do some work on it, so I can call it as a replacement nut. Okay, after that, I got on the coil. There's just 2 bolts holding it. Everything else is on the side now, so I could actually go back to where I originally wanted to go. I just need to clean up the gaskets here, make sure everything is good, start putting on the front back together. Okay, scraped off the gasket on both of them. Cleaned it up with some degreaser first, then scrub it with the one of those metal Scotch-Brite pads or whatever. Then sprayed it down with brake cleaner and wipe it up. Getting ready to put on the gaskets now. I'm debating if it's to use Permatex, which I really like, or the gasket sealer on the gaskets to make sure, they stay in place. And it's a double security. So I'll be putting on one of them. Both of them should be just okay to put in. I mean, it doesn't matter. All right. On the water pump, it's sealant pipe, thread sealant on them, Permatex on the gasket. This one is the gasket maker, the red gasket maker for water pumps. I put it on that and it holds the gasket up. And I put a bead around this. It looks real thick, but it ain't thick at all. And I'll have to get something to seal this back. The pipe was just in the wrong position altogether. You couldn't get it in at all. So what I'll do is get some of that epoxy that you mix and put it back around that, because that's all it is. It's just an epoxy. I'll put this back together. It's just 2 bolts, but I'll put never seize or anti-seize on the 2 bolts that goes into that section. All right, ran into a snag. The housing to the thermostat had a hairline crack on it. Started to go in and then just the air just came off. It wasn't even tight or close to tight, but I'll just go ahead and buy a new one. Anti-seize on the threads and some grease on the shaft. That's the tensioner. It has a little tit on the back right there that goes in to the hole at the my left hand bottom, and that holds it in place, and then we just torque it down in there.